after leading most of the game. The Chicago Bulls find a way to lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves by 16. Let's talk about this game and if we have any good takeaways from it right after this. Listen, if you're new to the channel, it's your boy P Kid. This is Chicago Bulls Breach, talking all things Chicago Bulls. Your boy had to take some time off. He actually went down to Texas and took care of some things, but I'm back in full effect. And you know what? Unfortunately, my first video had to come around a time where I thought we were going to make some noise. I looked at this game and I said, hey, this may be a tough game. And we were doing so well in that first half. I mean, listen, we were knocking down the three ball. We were defending relatively well. And, you know, you walked into that second half saying, hey, if we can just find a way to put this team away, keep them at bay, we will come out with the dub. But surely, the Minnesota Timberwolves found a way to crawl back into this game. And they not only took the lead, they decided to then go on a 12-0 run at one stretch and blow us the heck out. Now, what went wrong and ultimately where did things turn? And we're going to say this. We had good, strong games from Vooch. In fact, Vooch dealing with the Stifle Tower, as they would call him, Rudy Gobert, who I still would love to understand how he's gotten 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards. But after dealing with that, I mean, Vooch still had a really, really solid game. I mean, no one can sit here and look at Vooch's production and say that he was stifled by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, Vooch had a really good game. Let's get some actual stats here. But like, Vooch still walked away from this game with 25 points, 5 rebounds, and that's a little on a rebound tip for him. He's typically a walk-in double-double and 2 assists. So we do know that the Stifle Tower in that respect, he might not get a lot of rebounds in that respect, but still contributed in a large way. 25 points in 30 minutes and shot efficiently from the field. Josh Giddey with only 9 points, but 13 assists. Double-digit assists there means that he was definitely dishing. We had Io chip in for 13 and Patrick Williams with 12. And Kobe White bouncing back from an egregious game against the Mavericks with 24 points. All in all, this is to say that the scoring totals were there for us during stretches, but a lot of this kind of happened in the first half because that second half, we got ran. We didn't get run like a gentleman's run. No, we got ran like we were offset, like that $5 highlight from 79th Street. Why? Because they did not post one 30-point quarter. They doubled it up and posted 2, one being a 45-point quarter. Yeah, I said it, 4-5. 45 points. Yeah, they could have gone for 50, but they felt bad for us. Yeah, like realistically, that second half, not only did they take control of the game, they started to go on a run, and they had not only one person, but several people. They posted 1, 2, 3 people in 20 points or more, with one Jaden McDaniels being 19, so he was one underneath. They had a game. Now, where did we go wrong? 3-point shooting. 3-point shooting was solid. We were knocking down the 3 in the first half. Things were going our way, and in the second half, not so much. In fact, we shot egregiously from 3 in the second half after having a strong first half. And not only did we shoot egregiously, we couldn't defend for crap. Now, all of this is I want to say this. While I can sit here and make these off-color jokes about the performance and things of that nature, I do want to sit here and say this. They were, for all intents and purposes, a fully healthy Minnesota Timberwolves. We did not have Zach LaVine. We did not have Lonzo Ball. We did not have all of the pieces that would have assisted us in this game. In fact, I think Zach LaVine makes this game a lot more interesting and a lot closer. I don't think we find ourselves losing this game if Zach LaVine's healthy, but with the way that we started, and I darn sure don't see us getting blown out in the second half the way we did with Zach LaVine there. For all of those who are on the fence as to whether or not Zach LaVine is or should be considered important to this team, well, here's your proof. When Zach LaVine's not there, we tend to have games like this. Yeah, against good teams, we tend to have games like this because guess what? The point production that we would have expected from Zach LaVine, we definitely would have been able to do a lot more damage here, and I stand on that. For those who are on the trade Vooch tip, Vooch has been not only one of the most consistent people here, but even in this game, he was our leading scorer, not Kobe White. Which, no shade to Kobe White. This is not a shade against him, but this is just go to show that a lot of people that we're trying to usher out of here, move on, skip past, or start over in some degree. We kind of need those guys because we suck without them. Yeah, that's just I'm just going to call a spade a spade. We don't look great without them. We do look like a developing team, but how long can you still be in a developing team mode? It's been like 8 years now. What are we, Chicago Bears? Go figure, right? Like, stop it. Like, we at a certain point, you have to turn the corner. And we can't just sit here and try to quit on people simply because things get tough. Because in all actuality, those very people that we're trying to quit on are the reason we're even in some of these games in the first place. And I stand on that. With that being the case, I do want to sit here and say that the Minnesota Timberwolves are a finals contender. So while we are 3-6 and we are ninth in the conference, I don't want to look at this game and sit there and say, "Oh, look at the Bulls are so trash." This is a team that should have beat us, and this is a team that, like, realistically, they're trying to make another finals run. This is part of the course. Do I think that we could have had this game? Yeah. Do I think fully healthy we could have competed better? For sure. Do I think we would have won? I think that would have been determined by the amount of hustle that we've given fully healthy. But realistically, I do think we have had a shot. However, I'm not mad at saying I lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves after they just lost in the finals the year previously, and they made moves that, in my opinion, made them stronger, not weaker. I'm okay with conceding that. What I'm not okay with is not understanding or understanding why, in certain respects, we can't keep the same amount of intensity going both ways, or why we just go through these such egregious shooting lows. Why was the first half so blazing hot, but we couldn't buy a bucket from three in the second half? Like, why was that the case? And how do we correct it? Those are the questions that I would rather answer, because if we're going to be in a space where we're trying to develop, fine. Okay, I'm good with that. But then let's make the moves to pretty much show that we're trying to develop and build out and commit to that all the way around. Don't teeter totter. Make those moves. Now, this is one of those games that many people who are on the fence with this team are going to use as the excuse to start the rhetoric of trade Vooch, trade Zach, just restart, period. And that's going to be another video, because sure enough, sure as heck, right after this loss, and as I was going home after watching this game with Pat and all the guys, there popped up more trade rumors for Zach and Vooch out of the blue. So, like, the reality of it is, no one's really trying to keep them around. We are going to try to. It looks like the fan base is like, blow it up, let's restart, and maybe that is the right move, because it may not get better for us realistically, and that is actually the caveat to all this. Because we may not get better, it may be time now to say, hey, we tried, we see other teams have gotten dramatically better. Let's just go ahead and do what we got to do. And when the fan base is already there, it's just best for the teams to kind of buy into that, do what they need to do to kind of to reset. And so everyone has the same expectation of what's going on. Because when the fan base is under the impression that you're trying to compete and you put out performance like this on a regular, that's when you have the Chicago Bears issue, where you promised that this team will be better. We're not. What's the issue? The issue is you all have to go. Whereas if you have a head organization or front office that's trying to get ahead of that curve and realizes that, hey, we're just not good enough, let's go ahead and try to rebuild and do the right thing. The fan base understands that. Does it suck? Yes. Have we been there before? Yes. Are we tired of hearing it? Yes. But sometimes it is what it is. And this Bulls team, when you stack us against the teams like Minnesota, Boston, we ain't got it. We don't look good. We're not there yet. And this experiment for some of these players has gone on long enough. It may be time. But I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear ultimately what this loss does for you, what you saw ultimately, and where you stand with it. For me, I'm starting to believe it's 10 games in. I do like the addition of Josh Giddey, but it's one of those things where I'm starting to believe that it's the time for us to go completely young and develop it out. It's okay. Take the OKC approach if we have to. Try to make moves that gets us more picks, allows us to get more young assets. And then if you really believe Billy Donovan is the coach for those young guys, allow him to coach them up and get them to that next level. I do think that that's possible, as opposed to being in a situation where you're trying to teeter-totter on this mix of young and old that ultimately just stunts development one way or the other. And it's unfair to all the players involved as well. But that's my thoughts. I want to hear yours. With this level of hate, put in the chat. I'll be in there with you. Till next time. Peace.